Voter apathy is a constant pain every time in the Kenyan electioneering phases. And in today's debate, we have the motion that reads, compulsory voting for all persons of legal age is the best way to curb voter apathy in Kenya. Compulsory voting for all persons of legal age is the best way to curb voter apathy in Kenya. Proposing and opposing this motion is Nyangwa Boys versus St. Paul's in the Upper Eastern Region debates, and all the best to both teams. Team proposition, first speaker, you have 3 minutes.
Hata ninyi wenzangu, amkeni kumekucha, kamata jembe na panga, twende shamba. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in a world full of noise, let's dig deeper and uncover the untold truths together. I'm Paul Masharia from the S team, St. Paul's School, and your guide to a mind-expanding exploration that you don't want to miss. I'm here to affirm the motion that says compulsory voting for all people with legal age is the best way to curb voter apathy in Kenya, and I repeat, in Kenya. Anyway, let's get down to business. What is voting? I can tell you voting is a democratic process. It's a democratic process where citizens or individuals get to choose leaders and also to make decisions on some issues. And compulsory voting is just a legal requirement. It's a legal requirement by the law for citizens who are eligible to take part in voting. What is curbing? I can tell you all know this. Curbing is just limiting. And also, voter apathy. Voter apathy is just lack of interest in the electoral process. Anyway, onto my first argument. And I will tell you why compulsory voting is the best way to curb voter apathy. First, it will increase voter turnout. For example, there are so many nations, about 27 around this world, that they have compulsory voting. But I'll narrow down to, for example, Australia. Before Australia made voting compulsory in 1914, the elections, their voter turnout didn't came close to a half, but now they are at 92%. I'll give you another example, Singapore. Let's go down to the statistics. Singapore registered voter in the 2020 elections, they had 2,462,926. The voter turnout came to 2,304,333. In 2015, still in Singapore, registered voter were 2,462,926. The voter turnout came at 2,304,331. 304,331. In 2011, registered voter, 2,274,773. The voter turnout was 22,156,399. Let's compare it to Kenya. For the past, thank you.
I am here to represent the great Nyangwa boys, and my name is Finley Harry. I would like to agree with the definitions given by the proposition, but the query comes in the side of the seesaw that they stand, and I am here to oppose. And why shouldn't compulsory voting be enacted in our country? Freedom to elect a leader should not be controlled. When a government makes voting compulsory, it goes against Article 38 of our Constitution, which basically states that every eligible voter has a choice to make a political choice. And compelling one to vote is like going against their rights. And might I ask, isn't no choice also a choice? And I would like to give the proposition this bottle of water. And I'm sure by the end of the debate, whether they decide to drink or not to drink the water, I know it stands to reason that they know that they have the choice to drink or not to drink. And the same applies to what I'm putting across here, that the freedom to choose a leader should not be controlled. Instead of forcing people to vote, the government should address the real cause of voter apathy, and that is meeting the needs of the people. And I believe when that is done, a voter will have a reason to go out and cast a vote because they will know that their vote matters. One of the main reasons of voter apathy is the feeling that the government is not doing enough to change the lives of the people. With the ever-rising cost of living, unemployment, and little faith in our own system, why would I, if I was an eligible voter that is, wake up early in the morning to go and cast a vote? In fact, failure to vote is a vote of no confidence in our system. So what, my friends, is the solution? Definitely not compulsory voting, but it is the government meeting the needs of the people. And in light of voting, you should bear in mind that voting is a social contract between the government and the people. And there was the note that the first speaker said, that countries like Australia, they have implemented compulsory voting and they are recording higher turnouts. Though there are countries where compulsory voting has been enacted, such as Lebanon, and the voter turnout goes on dwindling time by time. So I would like to ask the second speaker to please elaborate why.
Team proposition, second speaker, you have 3 minutes.
I think I need to elaborate these simple points to our simple-minded friends. So for example, this bottle of water you've given me here, you have told me it's my choice to take it or not, right? Let me ask you a question. If I do not take this water, what will happen to me? I will die, true? So it is mandatory for me to drink this water because we all know water is life. This is Roy Owen from St. Paul's High, here to affirm the motion that states compulsory voting for all persons of legal age is the best way to curb voter apathy in Kenya. Let me get down straight to the points. Enhanced political accountability. When we enforce mandatory voting, our leaders will be able to account for the choices that they make as leaders of this nation. For example, in Australia, since Australia adopted compulsory voting in the year 1924, you have seen that all decisions that they make have to affect the voters directly. In Kenya, we have not had such systems of mandatory voting, and that's why you hear our people here lamenting that we have inflation rising in costs of commodities and other goods, yet they did not have a chance to vote for the leaders that are in power now. If they had a choice, I am very sure these leaders would, and I repeat, would be able to account for what they do because because they cannot say not everybody voted for them. It will, as I'm saying, elected officials are aware they cannot afford to ignore the concerns of significant portions of the electorate because everyone voted for them, and I do not see a reason as to why they do not have to account for the actions that they make, the choices that they make, the laws that they pass, because it will affect everyone who voted for them. And I'm very sure that if they make the right decisions, they will encourage the people to vote for them again and again. And I'm sure every political leader wants that. This can lead to greater responsiveness to the public needs and expectations. I'm sure you have already understood that. Strengthening civic and national duty, and strengthening civic duty and national identity. Belgium adopted mandatory voting in the year 1893. Belgium, as you have seen, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of medical care, in terms of services and respondents to their citizens, is better equipped than Kenya. I mean, how many times have you heard about damaged roads? How many times have you heard about collapsed buildings in Belgium? I'm sure almost none. But in Kenya, it's a daily occurrence. And this is because our leaders are not being able to account for where the money is going because not everybody voted for them. And therefore, they do not feel an obligation to they don't feel an obligation to their country because they will say they'll have the opportunity to say that not everybody voted for me, so I can do this and do that. Compulsory voting reinforces the idea of civic duty and encourages a sense of national identity. I'm very sure that we all know 3 blind men cannot lead each other. So I urge you to hold on to me and I'll show you the way.
Team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
My colleagues here want us to implement compulsory voting. And if that is implemented, my voter's registration card will read Brittany Karani Kamau. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my real name. But what if I'm not really confident to compulsory voting? I will be lying to myself that I'm supporting a government system that is going to solve everything. First of all, you didn't answer the question. You were asked by my colleague about Lebanon and Brazil. They have compulsory voting and still they don't have high voter turnout. Okay, I'll tell you, it is because that the government did not deliver to the expectation of the people. So if you just bring compulsory voting and the same government is not going to deliver its points, so to deliver the people expectations and what they promised, that will be just, let me just say, useless. Okay, because numbers matter to you, 90%, 91%. I'll tell you about Iraq. In 2002, 99.96% of the registered voters voted for a candidate. This candidate was Saddam. This candidate was supported by the government. All of these people voted for that candidate because they were intimidated. Just not because they felt that this is the leader. So if there was no compulsory voting in that country, maybe they would have other options. They will go to maybe the second leader. But because the government was really, really stressing on Saddam, that's what happened. He said about Belgium that there is no corruption. But I would like to tell you that compulsory voting is not the solution to corruption. We can have compulsory voting, but still, there will still be corruption. The government will know that these people have voted for us, all of them, but we'll still have corruption. And again, during the 1960s, our founder fathers fought for democracy. Implementing compulsory voting will be going against democracy. This is because these leaders, I mean the Kapenguria Six, Jomo Kenyatta, the first president, they were jailed and unfortunately Dedan Kimathi passed just because they were trying to fight for a democratic system of government. Fighting for compulsory voting will be contradicting democracy. It will be bringing authoritarian system of government. And I would love to tell you that instead of just telling us about compulsory voting, you should try to implement on civic education and try to implement on the leaders having a meaningful relationship between the citizens and the vote and the people who want to be elected. So compulsory voting isn't really the solution. Thank you.
Team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Prepare to meet the person who can juggle flaming torches while still reciting Shakespeare. Just joking. I bring a wealth of expertise and experience, unlike my critics here, clearly. So they asked about Lebanon. Of the 27 countries that have legalized compulsory voting, you chose a country in the Middle East which is marred by civil wars each now and then. I mean, no one here has never heard of civil wars in Lebanon. I mean, it's like choosing Somali in the East African community. You talked about Iraq, Saddam Hussein. Why are you giving us these lengthy examples? I want to hear you people talk about Brazil. I want to hear you people talk about Belgium. I want to hear you people talk about Singapore. Singapore's shilling right now, okay, their Singaporean dollar is ranging at one of the best in the world, while Lebanon, of which civil wars, so I think you have your answers. So they're saying that we have a choice to drink water. My colleague has told them that if you don't drink water, you will die, and surely, I believe they do biology, they will die. So if you don't vote, who are you choosing? So you are living in a country where you get chosen, you get led by people who don't know what they're doing. I mean, at the end mark, the same person who will choose who you will choose is the same person who is going to determine you. I mean, let's talk about Russia and Ukraine. People chose Vladimir Putin. People chose Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. I mean, if they didn't choose Putin, let's say they chose me, example. I don't like Cold War and such. So my decision will not invade Ukraine. Does that matter to them? Yes, because why? Russian citizens are now suffering. Why? Because you know what? They have been banned from sports. They've been banned from the international community. Why? Because you know what? Vladimir feels like, no, these people, let's do this thing on Ukraine. Because you refuse to vote. I mean, I can quote Obama, and he's one of us, and you hear me clearly. He said that every vote counts. From the Mamamboga in Kamukunji to, I think, the late, Mwai Kibaki in Modaiga. They are votes. All the votes, they count. Whether she is the Mamamboga, whether he was the former president, they all count because what? The person they are going to choose, the person who is going to decide their future. If we would have chosen Raila Odinga, I mean, we will not be talking about finance bill right now. So you people, okay, our judges here pay taxes. They will be at maybe, let's say, greater advantage. But because we chose His Excellency, Dr. Ruto, they're now, okay, maybe they're not complaining, but majority of the people are complaining about taxes. So what my colleagues have said, they have not said anything about corruption. They have said enhance political accountability. If a leader knows what to do, he will do it to the core so that he cannot get out. Thank you. And I would like to give them this stretch so that they can chew the facts that I've given them. I think they have discharge in that. Thank you.
Team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
A quote said by Sharon Chesman that says that voting is the expression of our commitment to vote yes or no. Because what you're trying to say is that mandatory voting is also a form of authoritarian government where people are threatened because of using their consciousness. Now, you want to punish us or even force us to go and vote, yet we know it is our right. And we don't know if you're going to cast a meaningful vote because yes, we can go to vote, but we can cast a blank vote. Or even extend this tick and it is claimed as spoiled vote. What you're minding about is having a high voter turnout, but not having this as one of their constitution. Now, I know voting is fun when no one is forcing you. Because let's take for example that you go to a polling booth and find your mates and you start chatting. It is exciting. But when you force us to go and vote, this is implying negativity to us that voting, that you're waking up to vote because we do not feel like it is because we're being forced. Now, instead of forcing us to go and vote, I think you can focus more on conducting free and fair judgment elections because the same challenges will still occur even if this is made compulsory. Now, you want to pass this compulsory voting, yet there's some places and even religions that they don't allow voting. Now, you want to tell us that if this is made compulsory, what will happen to the other side? So, my name is Bill Kiroki. I rest my case.
Team proposition, you have 1 minute to give your closing remark.
The last speaker, you told me about religions. I believe religions are many. Give us example, give us something that we can work with. Oh, please. It's facts and conviction, not rumors or hearsay. Thank you. You are saying you don't vote. Why wouldn't you vote? I mean, why can't you understand the fact that if you don't vote, your life might be in danger. The health services that you get, you might not get them. Your life depends on this person that you're choosing. So you don't have an opportunity to, it's like we have the Constitution and there is a right to life, but you don't have a right to kill yourself. You know, there's some things that we cannot even start thinking of. You cannot tell me you have a right not to choose how your life wants to be. Will you just be careless? I mean, your parents had a right, that's why you brought you to school. You would be outside there if you, so you're telling me you have a right not to be in school and not get education. I don't think that's where we're going with this. Thank you.
Team Opposition, you have 1 minute to give your closing remark.
I'm here because I'm disappointed in this gentleman. Why wouldn't just come inside with us and prove that we are not here to debate on how compulsory voting will end corruption? We are not coming to debate here on how compulsory voting will make my dependency on a leader. It will improve that. But basically, what my team is trying to say that compulsory voting is unconstitutional because it just goes against what Article 38 has to say about it. And I've already stated here that the main reason for voter apathy is governments not addressing the needs of their people. And as I said, I believe that that is the solution. And again, what my friend said about Iraqi, that you are coming out to vote, you have been forced to vote, but you are going to vote for one candidate who maybe coincidentally you don't like, who maybe coincidentally is being helped by the government. So what is the point? And bottom line, rather than requiring people to come out and vote, the government should address the needs of the people, because that is why we are electing them to improve our lives. Thank you.
From the proposing school, St. Paul, compulsory voting and voter apathy. And you give examples of where that has been applied. What I was looking to hear is, how is that enforced there? You know, what do they do? Are you denied certain rights if you never voted, for example? Are you penalized? You know, basically, if I choose not to vote, what are the other options, for example? If I don't go, but there's compulsory, can I use a proxy? You know, we wanted to hear such kind of things. And then you elaborate how it's a civic duty and a sense of patriotism to actually vote. I think the enforcement bit is what was not coming out.
Nyangwa, now, Finley, you came in and brought what we expected. You know, you were addressing voter apathy by meeting the needs of the people, and we accept that, and we saw that coming forth from the rest of the people. It's a story that you brought in, that the reason why we have apathy is because people are not doing what they're supposed to do. And when they meet the needs of the people, then this will be addressed. And I think that was a good one. So Brittany comes in and brings you the same example. However, the Iraq example you gave, Brittany, were they coerced to vote for Saddam? And what was the source then? In fact, as judges were asking us, you have great stories, but where is the sources, all right? Evidence must be there. So Iraq example, we still didn't feel like it came in. However, civic education as an example of what we could do to address apathy is a good example. Bill, good deductions from the questions that you brought in. What if someone votes blanks? All those kind of things, make it fun. I think we love it. It was a way of bringing in different ways of doing it. So all the best to the teams. Let's wait for the results.
The debate was good, the comments were well, the points were valid, and I would like to say that this man here is a force to reckon with. Like, he had me on edge. Like, if we were to lose, I think it would be because of him, but things played out the way they played out, and we thank God that we
I wouldn't say we are that very satisfied with the outcome, because we were much more prepared than this. I think we would have liked a different outcome, but as I said, it played out, and you know, we men, and we accept, and they are good. You're also good. Thank you.
I would correct my mistakes. You know, I've been told that I didn't give the best example in Iraq. I would first of all correct it. And what he told me about Iraq being in the Middle East and being in chaos every time, I would maybe tell him something else. Yeah.
I think we would have worked together as a team, because I'm very sure teamwork was not of much essence in there. And I also think that we would prepare more adequately, because this was a last-minute thing.
And we have come to the end of this debate. I have the results here with me. I think I will go straight to it. To St. Paul's High School, the judges have awarded you with 62%. A round of applause, please, to St. Paul's High School. to Nyangwa Boys High School. The judges have awarded you with 65%. A round of applause, please, for Nyangwa. And the winners of this debate is Nyangwa Boys High School. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please, to the winners of the day. And we have come to the end of this debate. And until next time, it is goodbye from us. For more of this content or debates that we do, make sure to check our social media handles on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube at The Debate Circle. Goodbye.